Simcha, celebration, Simcha, Simcha, celebration of life.
Hi, welcome to Simcha, a celebration of life. I'm your host, Eitan Berger. ORT is a century-old Jewish training organization with its roots in Tsarist Russia, spreading its wings around the world. ORT JET, the enterprise development division of ORT SA, was established in 2006 to assist and empower small to medium-sized Jewish organizations. ORT JET is now offering business entrepreneurial training for previously disadvantaged small business owners. Today, we meet reflexologist and business owner Teresa Mashaba, a participant and mentee of the program.
The program that we're running is a business and managerial skills training course. So it's based on the new venture creation qualification. It's a registered qualification with SACWA. We do run a program for the Jewish community. It's called ORT JET. And we have prominent businessmen and women that offer their time on a voluntary basis to mentor young business or business owners in the Jewish community. So we have now introduced our mentors from the JET mentorship program to mentor our learners from the outreach. And we are training black business owners on this program.
We've got these new businesses and startup companies that actually come through to this business entrepreneur training within ORT. So with me as a facilitator, I actually take them through the theory part of how to actually run your own business. So we've got different types of modules that we take them through when it comes to communications, when it comes to operational management, financial management. So basically they get the theory part that when they start running their own businesses, they actually have the proper tools. And then through that, what we do is that while we're taking them through the theory, we actually come and visit their businesses to actually see, or when it comes to the structure, what else do their businesses actually need for them to actually grow better.
The mentor is specifically concerned with helping a person to start a business or to take a business they've started and to develop it and make it successful. What's important about being a mentor is that you have to adapt what you do to the individual person's business, to their circumstances. They know how to run their own business, but there are things about running a business that are not core. Perhaps marketing, perhaps technology, perhaps finance, and these are areas that businesses need help with. ORT introduced Teresa and me at a group meeting, and we had to agree that we were a good combination, that I would be able to offer her the services that she needed.
The role of the mentor is to assist the business owner to take his business or her business to the next level, to help them grow the business, to help them make it more sustainable. So that's where the mentor comes in.
When I've got problems, every time we meet, then I tell him the problems, and then he tries by all means to help me. He even goes through the internet, get information for me. He's so helpful.
And then your Facebook page will have the same look and feel as this pamphlet. We've been together for about a month now. We only meet every couple of weeks, spend an hour together. Teresa tells me what she's done, and we have a look at what she has yet to do. We talk about opportunities. In this case, we've been focusing primarily on marketing, but she is aware that she needs to look at her finances and how she manages her finances. So we will agree on tasks that she needs to do, and she goes away, and over the next week or two, she implements the decisions that she's made. But you have to establish very quickly whether the entrepreneur is in fact realistic about what they can achieve.
So that you can start with our... I started this about 2 years ago. I thought, because I've got the experience of reflexology, if I just put my bed there and invite people, they will come. Not knowing that That wasn't just an idea. So what ORT taught me is that with that idea, I need to go out and market the business.
Teresa, let's have a look at the brochure that you've designed. In Teresa's case, she's got the right attitude. Yes, she had some illusions about what it was going to take to make it successful, but she's shown the initiative, she's made the effort, she has overcome challenges, and that's what's necessary for an entrepreneur to be successful.
These are your chronic eyes.
Okay.
Yeah, that is why it is so. What we do here is we work on the feet. We stimulate the system because all your organs are related to the veins that goes down your feet. So what we do is that we stimulate your feet and then to break the toxins, to break the uric acid, which is built up to allow the circulation to flow freely. You must tell me when you feel the pain, where you feel pain, so that I can be able to trace your illnesses.
Okay.
A lot of people rely on medicines, not realizing that the body can heal itself. Because what we do when we stimulate the system, we also stimulate the pill which is in the brain, which helps the body to heal itself.
This session brings calmness to me, and my body is forever flexible. I'm so flexible in the age that I'm in. I mean, I'm 65 years, but I'm still strong because of this.
I'm promoting my business. At the same time, I'm teaching people so that they know what is good for them.
But I think, Teresa, the fact that you are embracing technology, I think the greatest joy is to see an entrepreneur become successful. It's incredibly difficult for an entrepreneur anywhere in the world to get a business off the ground. An entrepreneur is going to face such challenges.
Our biggest challenge in South Africa is that we've got a lot of startup businesses or survival businesses, and they don't get access to bigger markets, to a greater network. And ORT can play a very important role in terms of that.
ORT has helped me a lot because I didn't know anything about business. I thought business was just selling, not knowing that there's a lot behind business.
When you can assist an entrepreneur to overcome the challenges and to achieve the success that they had aimed at achieving, that is the most rewarding thing.
According to halakha, Jewish law, dairy products must be derived from a kosher animal, such as a cow, goat, or sheep. Manufacturing of dairy products that are supervised by observant Jews, from milking to production, are afforded a unique status, Chalav Yisrael. Simcha visited Genuine Foods to find out more about Chalav Yisrael.
Chalav Yisrael started with the Shulchan Aruch, with the Code of Jewish Law, with the Torah. The word Chalav means milk. Yisrael means a Jew. That means, according to the Shulchan Aruch, it is that when a cow is milked, there would be a Jewish person who would be in attendance to watch.
The sages impose this requirement that an observant Jew should be present at the milking to ensure that it is only kosher milk that we're getting, whether it's from cows or from goats or from sheep. So all our products, without exception, are Chalav Yisrael. That stands in contrast to many products out there which are certified as kosher but not Chalav Yisrael, meaning there's no such supervision, and the consumer is really relying on the laws of the land to ensure that nothing was added to the milk.
They are there watching. First of all, they would first check to make sure that all the equipment which draws the milk from the cows are clean, and that the tanks that the milk would be transported into afterwards will be also clean. He is there the whole time until they finally finish milking the cows and putting it into the tank, where it will then be sealed, and then it gets transported to the next stage where it goes to the dairy or to another tanker. It will be in the attendance of the mashgiach, the kosher supervisor, who will break the seal and make sure that the next stage it goes into that it's clean and empty, and follow it through.
This is our production facility. Upstairs is the packing facility. Here is where we make things. The milk comes here from the farms. It gets pasteurized in most cases. Some processes don't require pasteurization because the process itself involves heating up the milk and pasteurizing. All our products, without exception, are Chalav Yisrael. Chalav Yisrael is a requirement that was set by Chazal, by the sages of the Talmud. They required that any milk or milk product consumed by a Jew should come from milk that was supervised. The milking was supervised by an observant Jew to ensure that nothing but kosher milk goes in.
Chalav is where the kosher supervisor mashgiach is there in attendance from the time of the milking. Kosher is from the time the milk comes to the dairy and onwards. I've been in this country now 39 years, and there was always some semblance of Chalav Yisrael, as I can remember. Very, very small, because there were a small number of people who were very, very strict about it, and they made it their business to go to a farm here and this, that, back. And now it's becoming a lot bigger, and more people are getting involved with what we have, what we call the Baal Tshuva movement, where so many people are coming back to Judaism, they're coming home, so to speak. So they're going in for the Chalav Yisrael, so the market is starting to pick up.
We were approached by a number of families who wanted milk that was organic initially, and they also wanted a guarantee on the kashrus of it, that it would be Chalav Yisrael without any compromises whatsoever. So for 4 years, my wife and I spent our Sundays getting milk from a farm near Pretoria, and it was just a service to a number of families. The factory operates from about 6 in the morning until 1 the following morning. So it's almost a 24-hour-a-day operation, 6 days a week. The products that we make at the moment take up to 2 days to manufacture. Essentially, everything we do is handmade. This is not a huge factory where everything is automated. It's all handmade. So one of our main challenges is consistency, to make sure that every product comes out the same every time, and that's quite difficult. We have the butter churn where we pour the cream in, and then that turns into butter. And cooling tanks and cheese tanks where the products get made, or at least the first part of the product gets made, whether it's mozzarella, feta, cottage cheese, halloumi, and a whole variety of other products, yogurt, drinking yogurt. It all happens in this part of the factory. We put a tremendous emphasis on quality. Our products are free of additives, they are free of colorants, they are free of flavorants. We only use natural ingredients. Our yogurt, for example, is yogurt, fruit, and sugar, nothing else. Real fruit and sugar. Most dairy products are a little bit on the acidic side. When you taste the tang, the characteristic tang of yogurt, that really is acidity. And one has to control it very, very carefully, both in yogurt and in other products like mozzarella, because the acidity determines very much what the final product will be like. pH is a measure of the acidity of the product. That's extremely important when it comes to dairy products.
When it's about 5.2 to 5.5, then we take out the cheese and start cooking.
the truth is we are in the business of biological warfare. That's my business, biological warfare. There are certain bacteria that we want to succeed, to thrive, because they are the bacteria that drive the product forward, that make the yogurt, that make the cheese. At the same time, there are other bacteria and viruses that you don't want to succeed. They are killing the bacteria that is helpful. So you're constantly playing with these factors, the acidity and the temperature and the humidity, to ensure that your bacteria win the war. We see this still as a community project. Of course, the business needs to be profitable, but it's very much a community project. We pour our energies into this endeavor. We insist on the highest quality of ingredients and products, and we are committed to making Chalav Yisrael accessible in Southern Africa, so that those Jews who want to purchase Chalav Yisrael products will find it. It will be accessible. The price will be reasonable. There'll be a wide selection of products, and it will be reasonably priced.
Hugh Raichlin is a lawyer who has a keen interest in Jewish communities around the world. Over the last decade, Hugh has traveled the globe in pursuit of his passion. Today, we begin a new mini-series, Heritage Travels with Hugh Raichlin, in which he explores the history of the Jewish community of Portugal.
Jews came to Portugal in the 6th century before the Common Era. That was during the time of Nebuchadnezzar. It's important to know that that really was the bedrock of what was to become the Jews of Europe, because the Jews migrated in large numbers after the destruction of the temples when they felt unwelcome in the Middle East. In the early 14th century, there were approximately 200,000 Jews in Portugal, which constituted 20% of the entire population of Portugal. They contributed an immense amount to the culture of Portugal, to the history of Portugal, and as South Africans it's particularly relevant because we know of the Portuguese voyages from Portugal around the Cape to go to the east. And there were many Jews that were financiers and financed those voyages. Jews were involved in all aspects of business, and they were in the professions as well, and very highly regarded. And in fact, the King of Portugal, or the kings of Portugal, treated them with great respect and saw them as very important citizens. That all changed in 1497 when King Ferdinand married Queen Isabella. And as we know, that gave rise ultimately to the expulsion of the Jews from Spain and from Portugal. The Jews faced the following dilemma. They were either told that they could convert to Catholicism, or they could leave the country, and if they stayed in the country as Jews, they would meet their death by way of auto de fe, which was really being burnt at the stake. Most of the Jews left. They in fact went across Europe, through Central Europe, to the existing Ashkenazi communities in France and in Germany. And many of them carried on their trek across Europe to Eastern Europe, to Poland and Lithuania and parts of Russia. So the interesting fact of history over there is that although many Ashkenazim from Eastern Europe see themselves as being somewhat apart from our Sephardi brothers, the truth is that we're very much part of one family and just happened to emigrate from Spain and Portugal across Europe. We traveled to Castelo David, which was a village in the center of Portugal, a small village, and we were privileged to be walked around by the mayor of the town. He pointed out a beautiful 3-story house that was occupied by a family called Raposa. We went into this home and we saw the most incredible sight. off the side of the dining room was a small room with Catholic artifacts. And that was where the family would light candles and would do all the things that a Catholic family would do, a mini chapel in their home. What we then saw on the other side of the room was a bookcase. But if you pushed the bookcase to the side, it revealed a hidden room behind where there was an Aron Kodesh, there was an ark made out of wood, where the family would pray on the Jewish holidays and on the Sabbath. So this was a house that was used by crypto Jews or anusim to practice their religion in secret. We then went to another town called Belmonte. Belmonte was also absolutely fascinating because they're a community of approximately 500 people have come out after 5 centuries after the expulsion from Spain and Portugal, and they now openly practice their Judaism. So that means that for all the centuries they knew that they were Jews, but it was never revealed to other people in the village or to villagers around them because they were scared of being exposed as Jews. We then went to Oporto, which is the other big city other than Lisbon itself, where we saw the Kaduri shul, which was built by a wealthy Sephardi man from the east. The Kaduri family are well-known Sephardim, and was built on property of Baron Edmond de Rothschild, the famous Jewish philanthropist from France. And in that community, we were also exposed to Jews that had come out of hiding. There was a man that came to speak to us, an old man that was also on a conversion course, that said that a barber in Oporto had secretly given him a Brit Milah, had secretly circumcised him when he was a young man. So this is probably within the last century that you still had secret Jews that were being circumcised by other secret Jews in Portugal itself. Today there are very few Jews in Portugal. There's probably under 5,000 Jews, and it's unlikely that the Jewish community will ever reach what it was. Those that are there have got a few synagogues. There are no Jewish day schools that we were exposed to. And those Jews that have found their Judaism invariably emigrate to the land of Israel.
In chapter 4, verse 1 of this week's Mishnah from Pirkei Avot, Ethics of Our Fathers, Ben Zoma is quoted as saying, "Who is strong? One who overpowers his inclinations. Better one who is slow to anger than one with might. One who rules his spirit than the captor of a city." That's all we have time for this week's episode of Simcha. As always, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you join us. If you'd like to be in touch with us, please find us on Facebook at Spirit Sister Productions and drop us a line. From myself, Eitan Berger, and the whole team here at Simcha, have a great week and goodbye.